Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Island Tea with your faves, Kevon and Azem, featuring Jade, Gwen, Gwenisha, Gwyneth Paltrow, Idita Johnson.
Who abandoned us this morning, but I'm here.
Wow, she did. That's crazy.
Man, that's how they be, I tell you. That's how they be.
It's wild.
But Kevin,
So
how you
while
doing, bro?
Gwen, tired.
Yo, that was me last night. Last night, it had been a long time since I just felt so out of it. And it always seems to be on the on the day before I really have to get busy. Like I always seem to be
Yeah.
very tired the night before I actually gonna be doing things that's gonna make me extremely tired.
Yeah, I came and I went to sleep like 6:30 last night. I went to take a nap, which shouldn't have been, which was supposed to be a nap. The nap lasted about like 3-4 hours. Then I woke up and went back to sleep.
Those be the naps, by.
So today I'm encouraging myself to wear my glasses to force me to wear my contacts to force me to look brighter because I often hide behind the glare of my glasses when it comes to tiredness. So
Yeah. Well, the struggle is real. The struggle is real.
yeah, well, it's time. So wait, Jade had the most gears to go in yesterday, and now it's time to actually go in gears. She not here.
That's what they be, I tell you. That's what they be. What are you gonna do?
Go off,
What are you gonna do?
Peter. We have pencil and color me. But
Say that again?
whatever. No.
But you got gears to go in?
Not at the moment actually. I think I've been so busy that I haven't paid much attention to what's been going on around me. So nothing has upset me lately.
Yeah.
I think.
I know what
Until
you
you
mean.
said something that triggers me.
Well, there's one thing that I've been dealing with the last week or so.
Already.
That people, especially older people, more experienced people in some cases.
Oh, Jade is listening to us, by the way. So Jade, we're not
Yeah, she messaging and so like what's she doing? What's she?
Yeah, go where you're going, please.
Okay. Love you, Jade. Let me see what she is saying.
You like a lot, cause
Ooh.
I ain't listening. Yes.
Hey, wait, let the taxi driver know that you are the Jade that we're speaking about.
Yes, let them know that Jade, the Jade, the Ibita that is sitting in that chair is you.
Yes, indeed. But I was saying, Kevon, you know, there's this thing that I've been dealing with the last week, and it's something that I know a lot of people have dealt with, and it's unfortunate because it's so unnecessary. People who see, whether it's younger people or just people with different ideas, as threats as opposed to assets.
So you mean the entire workforce in St. Nevis?
Pretty much, like, bro, like, because somebody else is coming with an idea doesn't mean that it somehow undermines all that you've done. It doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing at all. It just means that there's new ideas coming to the fore, or there's just somebody else who wants to contribute in some way to whatever everyone's trying to, well, supposedly supposed to be working towards. But some people seem to be threatened whenever there's ideas that come from someone else.
No, correction. Ideas that come from young people.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Because if it's somebody who's in the same bracket that threw an idea on the wall, they will help it to stick. However, when it comes to new young people, because what I've realized, now I have a gear to grind.
Grind it.
What I've realized is that A lot of the persons in the workforce who have been there for, the 20 years, the 25, 30 years, a lot of them are people who took the position without the credentials.
Right.
And they learned the position while in the position. So now it's a bit intimidating to them when some of us go off to university, we get the credentials to do the same job in 4 years, and we come back and we apply. And we get the job, and to them it's like, you didn't learn the way I did, so you don't earn this, you don't deserve this. And it's this, it's ageism at its best, to be honest, as well as, it's just this. It's a bit of insecurity, because to me, if you're secure in your job, if you know what you're doing, why are you intimidated that somebody else is now here to assist you? Do you undermine your own competence,
bro? You
when it comes to your job?
You just ask some questions. Okay.
No, but that is the thing.
So,
do you undermine your own competence when it comes to your job? Because why does somebody else showing up to the job now intimidate you?
Yeah, and the thing about it is, they're usually in a position to benefit from the ideas of the younger people, like that'll be the thing that is like, you're supposed to be focused on getting the job done the best way possible. Instead, you're more interested in looking important and somehow trying to prove your value to the project.
Mm-hmm.
Because you feel like if somebody else has a good idea, if somebody else brings something to the table, or if somebody else even is given a chance to lead, that it somehow undermines your value to the project. And it's like, no, like if you are a good leader, if you're smart, you would learn how to use the skills of the people around you to not only make the job better, but in some cases even make yourself look better.
But that I guess that's a little too simple, to be honest.
Why?
So,
because I can tell you something. One of the things I always remember from our interview with how could I forget his name now? The guy who owns Alibaba, right? Huge millionaire, right? And he always says, people ask him like, what was the secret to his success, right? And the man said, I would just hire people smarter than me.
it's quite simply,
I would just hire people that are smarter than I am. And it's like, when he said it, it's kind of like, that makes sense. That makes sense. But hey, what we know?
Honestly, it's a bit like, y'all, like, I don't know. It's weird, because it makes me wonder, like, do you guys want to progress, or do you guys just want to stay in the current pitch situation you guys are? Like, I don't get it. Like, a lot of the times, and then the thing is too, a lot of them get intimidated to the point where they start to like make your work life difficult. So they would delay giving you the things you need, the files you need. They would delay giving you the information you need. Some of them would have the outbursts. Oh, I've been here for 20-something years. You just reached last week. And if you're here for 20-something years and you're doing things that way, and I'm here for a week and I'm already moving faster than you, that says a lot. So your insecurity is showing, And it's just like, y'all, I feel like people need to really back up a bit in terms of getting hostile when it comes to new people, especially new young people, and use it as an opportunity to boost yourself, because a new person comes in, they could show you a faster way to do something. They can aid you in help, in some task you have. Like, it's a learning opportunity. Older people always want to force young people to learn and to take things from them, but why doesn't learning work the other way?
Yeah, and you know what happens though? What's then going to happen? They're going to foster the competition that they're trying to avoid.
Yeah,
they're going to foster the competition because people are going to do what they have to do. Young, ambitious people are going to do what they have to do, and sometimes if they recognize that means throwing you under the bus, then that's
agreed.
That's what's going to happen.
They rile up, like they get a little intimidated because they seem to think there's now a competition happening, and like you said, in trying to avoid the competition, they actually start the competition themselves and basically put people against each other.
Yes.
And now you've created a competition because you refuse to work with this person. You often undermine this person. So now this person is going to do what they need to do with or without you. And when it comes down to the end of the day, when, the cards are being shared, the person's going to say, yep, did this on my own without help. So,
yeah.
Now what?
What? I don't know what's next. But do you believe that, who you think generally wins that back and forth, that competition? Generally.
That's interesting. I think frequently, I think the older generation wins, because I think the older generation is a little bit more comfortable with complacency. Because when it comes to young people, we don't really care for the "I've worked here for 25 years" badge. That doesn't really do much for us. Like, I know, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I've been with this company for 25 years and it's a massive milestone, and congratulations to them. But for us, it's just like, I'm not going to stay in a place I'm not comfortable. If this job doesn't make me satisfied or give me the things I need, the tools I need to progress myself, I'm leaving. So when the hostility kicks in and the bad environment kicks in and all these things, the young person will quicker say, okay, well, I'll just find a new job elsewhere. Yeah. That's all. So, I mean, they kind of win by default because of our style of work. Right. But then at the end of the day, who really wins? Because you are now the person that makes people leave the job fast.
Yeah, but I guess maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't care.
That too. So
they don't care. But
they don't care.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm presently dealing with a situation, and it's a little different in my position because I generally work in a way where it's like several entrepreneurs coming together to do whatever. So there's people from different disciplines, different backgrounds, whatever, and so you find people who may have been doing it for a long time or whatever, just having pushback, just having some real pushback, and it's unfortunate because sometimes you literally look up, and it's one of them things that I say, like in rap, like when your idols become your rivals. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't want to learn. I don't want to, like, because you may have insight that I don't have.
Right.
I might have technical insight based on my training or my experience. You may know, these people here, yeah, they're a little funny when it comes to these kind of things. You might have insight that I don't have. But instead of us being able to use and bring what we all bring to the table towards the common goal, we're busy infighting. It's tiring.
I also feel like I don't know. I just feel like, and the thing is too, a lot of these persons get this, cloak of invincibility because they've been there so long. To let them go now, to discipline them is something they're not used to because they've been here so long and all these things. So it's like at some point they become semi-untouchable. So even though they've been creating very hostile work environments, they might at some point be harassing employees. There's a lot of conduct violations going on when it comes to that person. But their tenure with the company makes them untouchable, which I don't think is fair. Because whether you're 1 year into the job or 20, I feel like if you do something that's grounds for dismissal, you should be dismissed. Right. And we use the age factor that, she's been here for 20 years, 21 years. Okay, and
I think what happened is just people don't want to see somebody contribute to something and then be walk away with anything, like, because it's almost like relationships. So a lot of people don't want to start over. Yeah. Right. So you don't want to put anybody in that position. But I think what happened is when people feel entitled to certain positions simply because, well, you were there for a long time. Like the entitlement is what does make things feel weird for me. Because you would want to believe that okay, if you've contributed to this thing for so long or whatever, that value is is respected and noticed and whatever, right? But it doesn't just give you the right to just be immune. It doesn't give you this blanket immunity to everything. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
One day.
Hopefully we could see more situations where the experience of people who've been around for a long time could inform and help direct the ideas of younger people coming up. Like I think that would be that. I think that's how we're supposed to go. Not even just in the workplace, but just in life. Like just in life. And yeah, young people got to be willing to understand as well. Got to be willing to listen and willing to learn and be humble and all of that there. But at the same time, yeah, when opportunities aren't given, some people gonna take them, and they're gonna be casualties. So that's what you're gonna do.
I think about it quite often, and they often say you become the people you despise. I hope that we actually don't become the same people we complain about, the people that are not open to change, the people that are not receptive to new ideas, the people that are not welcoming to people with more with more training than us. Because training and experience are two different things. Yeah, you could have a lot of experience, but if you're trained in something, you kind of you can often fight on the same battlefield.
Right.
Because other times, even like today, in most people show up to an office and say, "Oh, where's your Excel?" And people are like, "Excel?" Like,
yeah.
So when do we become the good generation that some program is introduced and we're like, "Hey"? But
that's gonna happen, eh? That's gonna happen, right. And like you're saying, I think we have to be willing and wise enough to recognize that, hey, there's a new guard coming in, and just find your place. Find your place. Like your place might be in mentorship. Your place might be that you need to really retool, humble yourself and retool and relearn so that you're able to be effective in the position that you're in. But it can't just be, well, this is how we've been forever. And so hopefully when we get to that point for us that we got to operate accordingly. Hopefully. Yeah, we could be stubborn to it.
Yeah, very. But hey,
over it. Yeah. But what we gonna do? But Kevon, yes. It's time because we have some special friends with us in the studio this morning. Our friends from Social Security are here this morning, and so while we get them all set up and prepared, guys, we're gonna take a short break, and we're gonna be right back with more Island Tea right here on WINNMedia SKN. Stay tuned. See you in a little bit.
ensure to be sure of your benefits. Sickness and maternity, I'll tell you about the rest of it. Survivors grant your spouse and kids get the best of it. Let me mention pension when you're 62. When you're done work hard and retire, this is what to do. Listen, this social security is working for all your benefits. Funeral grant to help every one of your relatives. Come register for this. Social security. Social security. So every time you get your pay. Social security.
Good morning and welcome back to Island Tea with your faves, Kevon and Azem. And it's time to, it's time to jump into our conversation with our friends from Social Security. Welcome and good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
So it was a pleasure to see you guys come in here. It's been a while, but I'm happy to see you guys back with us today.
We're happy to be here.
So what is happening at Social Security? What amazing information do you guys have for us today?
Well, what we have today, we know persons. And first, let me say good morning to our listeners. Our usual host, Camila Lawrence, is taking a well-needed vacation. So I am Sandra De Silva, Supervisor of Customer Service, and we have
Ersdale Warner, Acting Manager of the Compliance Department.
Okay, so today we're here, and we know that persons are very concerned about Social Security. They have lots of questions, and we are here to facilitate the answers as much as we can. So once again, good morning to all.
Let me
So good morning. So you guys are accepting calls as well. So
Yes.
feel free, guys, if you have any questions for the good folks from Social Security, feel free to call in and contribute to the conversation. But yes, what we have going on today?
Okay, so today, let me start by saying once again, because I'm at customer service, the importance of updating your telephone and email addresses. Now, your cell phone. Now, time to time, and we know we're going through a COVID pandemic, there are checks being made. Take, for instance, the Social Security. It presently is involving the coupon of $200 to persons. And as it is difficult to reach persons because the numbers, the cell phone numbers cannot reach these particular individuals. So for whatever reason, we have to change our numbers. And remember, Social Security should have all your correct data. So we need your change of cell phone numbers. We need your change of addresses. We need your change of email addresses because it's very important. We must be able to reach you.
In addition to what Sandra is saying, from time to time, we need to send statements out to insured persons and self-employed persons so that they are aware where their contribution targets are, and to ensure that they could look at their statement and see who would have paid Social Security contribution on their behalf. So in other words, if they're working for employer A and in 2016 and they got a statement from us and they don't see employer A on it, we expect them to come in. But because we have these addresses that are not updated, email addresses that are not updated, phone numbers that are not updated, most of the time when we send those statements out, they come right back to us. So those persons would not be aware of certain things. But in the interim, we are asking persons also, say every 3 to 6 months, come into the office, come at the customer service department and ask for a contribution statement so that you could be aware of if your employers are paying contribution on your behalf.
I could imagine that it would be very upsetting for someone to, you know, perhaps being after working for so many years for somebody, to when it's time to be, you know, to get your contributions back and your payments and stuff like that, to recognize that perhaps they're short because the employer hadn't been paying or stuff like that. Is that something that happens?
All the time. So that is why it's so important to come in and check, as Mr. Warner said, and even more than pensions, which is long-term, because you really don't want to reach that wonderful age that we all are working towards, 62, only to find out you'll get a grant. And then you say, but I've been working all my life. And then it is difficult at that point to get the contribution from the employer. No, but that's long-term. So we are going to talk short-term, sickness benefit. Your contribution is needed from your employer for sickness benefit. Again, this is the COVID pandemic. We are getting lots of claims because persons are in quarantine, and we have no contributions. So there is a delay in serving you, very long delay in some instances, and Mr. Warner, who is the manager for compliance, he has his work cut out for him because he has to get that contribution in.
Right.
You know, and that takes time, and you are already out of income, have to wait. And so I am telling, again, everyone, keep checking on your contribution. It is part of you, part of your life. Keep coming in and checking. Don't wait until there's a claim coming in and then you want to know what is taking Social Security so long. No, again, this is a pandemic. It is so important when making claims that you request your benefit to be paid to a bank account. A bank account, and we are talking our main banks. So you're talking National Bank, First Caribbean, you're talking Bank of Nevis, and so forth. We are going to, you may place your bank account information on your claim form. That is not enough. We need an electronic fund transfer document verifying that information for the bank. And we started this drive 2019 April. And today, a lot of that is not in place still. Now, persons will put it down, and because we don't have that document to verify with the bank, should anything go wrong, your benefit is going to be paid to the post office. You have your commitments, and the money did not go to your bank account. It is at the post office, and you think that there is a delay in settling your claim, but it's at the post office. And you want to know, well, how it can be at the post office? Because I put down my bank details. So again, persons, that is important. You don't even have to wait until you make a claim for that document. You can come in and make sure you fill a form and it's on your file for when that opportunity of you being sick, or it could be maternity claim and so forth. And that information is needed for all. And of course, our overseas persons just as well. Yes.
And let me add, Sandra, I'm happy that some persons keep coming in and checking and calling and checking because they want to know where they are in terms of contribution weeks, because they understood that as long as you would have paid in 500 contribution weeks, you qualify for a pension. So they keep checking. And yes, we want you to check, but we want you to understand 500 contribution weeks, yes, qualify you for a pension. But generally, it's a small pension. Minimum. So reaching the qualifying 500 doesn't mean you stop. You must continue.
Correct.
Right. The law dictates as long as you're working in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, whether you're working for yourself or you are employed, you must. It's the law. You must pay Social Security. There is no, I'm self-employed, so I do it if I want. You must, right? And we want a person to understand this 500 thing, yes, it brings you to a point that you qualify for something monthly. But you must continue to pay it. Bill your percentage. The higher your percentage is, the better you come out of Social Security at age 62 with something handsome that you could could keep you during the time of your retirement.
And the 500 contributions is 30%. So you're way, way down. And we pay up to 600. We pay up to 60%. Now, 60%, 1751 gets you 60%. And based on the years, how old Social Security is, most persons who were working at 1978 should have been at 60% at this point, but that is not the case. And that is why it's important to check to see if your employer is paying your contributions.
Hey guys, but we have somebody trying to join the conversation. Caller, you're live with Social Security.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Social Security, and good morning to all the listeners at home and abroad. Sorry about the radius in another room. Now, someone told me that they learned that, let us say you're working for the government, and you retire and go into self-employment. You're now earning less or much less. It is claimed that the pension that you would get is reduced after they signed up for self-employment. Could you explain that? Because some people say it doesn't make any sense you go and register after you say retire from government service, or just retire, you know?
Well,
What is the position? Compliance.
We in possessing your benefit at age 62, we are going to go back 15 years. Now, in that 15 years, we are going to look for your best years, because 52 weeks, 53 weeks, if it's a leap year, we are going to look at your best years, and then we are going to look at the amount of contributions that came in for you. Now, if you retire, we're talking 15 years. So, if you retire, stop working, can't work anymore, and you...
We're talking about the person going to self-employment.
Good, so I'm getting to that. Good, and you take up self-employment. It's important that you come in and have a conversation. It's important. Because if we are going back 15 years and you're self-employed because you retire, retirement comes at a particular age. You should still have that best wage that you were working, say for government or any institution for that matter. You should be able to have 3 of your best years still out of that 15 working years, not just 15 years, but the last 15 working years that we are going to look at. However, if you stop, I mean, how early can you go? You can stop.
You could retire at 50.
Okay, so you retire at 50. You retire at 50, you have 12 years. You still have that 3 good years to capture. But yes, persons have been very much affected, I must say. And that is why you're self-employed, you come in, and more self-employed persons come in and they're educated. And you can be re-educated if you hear anything on the road that does not sound right. You come in, you can always return and ask questions. And self-employed people feel like, man, it's my choice. And because it's my choice, I'm going to choose $300 per week as my wages, which means I'm paying $30. Why would you want to put yourself at such a disadvantage? But again, education, and we are there to educate. My office,
Are you suggesting that they should continue paying at the rate that they were paying when they were employed?
That is one. But based on the nature of what you're doing, the activity you're doing as self-employed, you can't continue. And that's why I said you come in to us and you have a conversation with us. And we will guide you because we want persons to get the best possible benefit at the age of 62. That is what we're there for.
The person was talking about, when you were given the stimulus.
Yes.
And the person said, well, I did not bother to register as self-employed. because it would affect my pension that I earned
No.
before I started working.
No, it should never. You finish at 50. That's a little early, but still come in and have that conversation to make sure that your best years at the last institution will be your best years. So if you,
All right, well, I hope the persons affected are listening.
but many persons they choose the last category, and in choosing the last category, they work 52 weeks. They pay 52 weeks, and maybe their last years with this employer, this institution was not 52 weeks, but that's conversations and communication. So person should visit. You leaving a job, come and visit.
Now, another question, I don't finish now. I heard the Prime Minister asking the fishers and the farmers to register as self-employed. How do you go about that? Because you know their work is seasonal.
Yeah, what we are actually encouraging those persons, all of them, bus drivers, also taxi drivers who are outside of the scope of self-employed at the moment, to come in and have a conversation. Because when we look at those persons who have seasonal work, what we do, we encourage them at the time when the season is booming to try and pay in advance. Pay ahead, so that when the slow time comes, you're somewhat ahead. So during that period, you are ahead, and whatever you pick up now, you can always just keep it going. So that's why we're having those conversations with those persons now. We're going to be doing a lot of visiting to those particular organizations to get those persons on board, because we
still haven't ensured that all the busmen and so.
We have met with.
Because they are the ones suffering when the stimulus comes up.
Yes, we have ensured, we have met with those association, but one of the things we are realizing that a lot of these persons, they register because they know the stimulus, we may have COVID and lockdown and stimulus, but then they're not contributing. So we have a host, a real increase.
Workers, man.
We have a real increase in registration, but compliance in terms of their payment.
You need some field officers.
We have officers out there, we have persons out there calling. Yeah, we have people calling them regularly. And
maybe you need somebody to go down the terminals, you know?
Yeah.
And do the collection here for them.
Absolutely.
Maybe assist them. Some people need assistance, even though they could read, you know. Some our people are what you call functionally illiterate.
I know, and sometimes we
even
meet
though
people
they
in
could read and so, for some time, whenever you present a form,
it's kind of scary.
All of a sudden they don't understand.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, a little field worker go out to help them, or even the association gets a member who is good at it. Fill out the forms, and the association could do the collection and maybe send it in to you.
Sure, that's a good idea.
You have to make these suggestions.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah, all right. Thanks a lot for calling.
Yes, thank you.
So again, we want to appeal to all those persons out there, fishers, farmers, come in and let's have the conversation. We have a category in self-employed that is good for you. We're not going to put you at anything that puts you at a strain or disadvantage. Like Sandra said, come in and have a conversation. In all instances, don't just stay out there. Come in, have a conversation. If you were employed by government or any other institution, your salary was $9,000 a month, now you're doing your own thing, you can't afford to continue paying in that kind of salary range, come in, have a conversation. We're going to look at what you were working for, and we're going to guide you accordingly. Right? Even if you can't meet the mark, we'll put you somewhere that is close to that, so you're not at a disadvantage. But the important thing, as she said, come in and let's have that conversation.
And remember that paying self-employed after you have retired early, it increases your percentage. Contribution equal percentage. So it ain't just about the money. It's also about the weeks of contribution that you are going to pay into Social Security. You cannot go wrong when you're paying Social Security. When you reach 62, yes, you feel finally I can see my rewards. And it's not even about becoming 62 or age pensioner. God forbid, this is a pandemic. Anything can go wrong. And you become disabled, and you have to claim your disabled pension. So do not ever stop paying Social Security.
And it's important to say again, I would have said it on the last program, self-employed is not an option. The law dictates that as long as you're working in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, you must pay Social Security. It's not an option. Persons think it's an option, so I'm self-employed, but I was working X and I put in some contribution already, so I have enough. It's not an option. The Social Security Board is revisiting these situations where persons are self-employed and not paying, and pretty soon we're going to be taking those persons to court because we want to make sure everybody is registered and contributing so that later in life they have that guaranteed pension. What we find a lot, persons, they don't register, they don't pay, and at age 62, there's nothing. They probably get a small amount of money. Then in 3 years' time, somebody bring an application, say, boy, this person in the community, but they ain't got nothing to eat. They need some assistance. And they expect Social Security to assist them now, what we call something an assistant pension. So they want to collect other person's money.
Yeah, but guys, we have a caller trying to get in on the line. Good morning, caller. You're live with Social Security.
Good morning, Mr.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I listen to Henry's scenario, but I have another scenario to put. If the person in the late 30s, 40s have reached the 500 contribution, and they are at table E, where they can pay, you say you're paying $60 a month. Let's suppose now you change your job and you go to work for somebody at like a watchman or a delivery man and get less.
Yes.
I didn't understand the lady's formula for that. Can't you tell me about the formula she'll work on now?
You would have an option if you are self-employed and you...
Not self-employed, you go on to employment.
Yeah,
you might get dismissed from a job and you get less pay.
Yes. That happens. That happens all the time. Now, you're getting less wages, so of course, you know, your pension will be processed based on those wages.
The last ones?
The last 15. So as I said, that person is so young and they change employment for whatever reason, that's those wages fall in the last 15. But there's no way around that. Those wages...
It is strange that this thing coming up because, like same case I was giving you, my sons are self-employed, and they want table E, $60 a week. But now that the recession is on, they're not able to pay the $60 a week because they ain't getting no work. They get like a little, a plumber's only get a little fixing a pipe here or so. So, what I told them to do, they paid 2 weeks. During the time, every month they carry the book in a mark, unemployed. Is that sufficient? Because they can't pay, they can't go down to $30 now. You see what I mean?
You can, if your income base has dropped, you can change your category.
And try to get back up. Before.
You can change your category and go down. The regulation allow you to change your category based on your age.
But if you can't drop too low, you can't drop all them things. I asked and they said you can't drop from $60 a week.
It could be done. It could be done, but you would need the approval of the director. You need to write to the director of Social Security, explaining your condition.
with circumstances. I think it should come from your department.
Yeah, but you'll have to write to the Director of Social Security explaining the situation. And the director he has that authority to allow you to move, skip some grade and go down, right? But the law still allow you to move down one category based on your age.
One. But I suggest the best thing to you all, you know, have a meeting. Yes, you were online. I know you all trying your all best online. But when things look better in the community, you come and tell them, because I think you should enforce the payment, because, as I said, they're not going to pay it.
They're
not going to pay it. Young people are going to pay.
But as you said, things have changed, and that person cannot pay weekly.
No.
But they may be able to pay. We have 4 Mondays, because Social Security is all about Mondays.
Yes.
So some months have 4, some months have 5. No, you can't pay all 4. You can't pay all 5. You
pay
should.
1 or 2.
Yes.
Because that's why I tell them pay that. But
yes.
They ain't even getting that.
Because
that's a peculiar case.
At the end of the day, you are saying that he is actually engaged in some form of.
No, he's not even engaged. Somebody might give him a little.
Good. Good. So he's working. There's
not working. You probably get the $50 to stop a pipe. You can't work in this.
Okay.
Be realistic, miss.
I understand. I understand. But persons have to try.
So what can they do? Because one of them trying to claim the claim, and again they run and round the place, because if you do a little job and tell them that is work, that ain't no work, miss. You consider that to be working?
It's not enough, but persons have to be innovative. I mean, we see different employment coming out of this COVID pandemic.
Yes, I understand, you know. You get what...
I know. I mean...
And the person was sick during the time, too. Sick for a couple months. But because they were on sick leave for self-employment, it wasn't drawn to your attention. But he filled up the form and put unemployed for the month.
No, you said that the person was sick for months,
couple
right?
Months, yeah.
How much is a couple of months? Because...
Well, from May right to December.
Oh, now hear this. That person may not have qualified for immediate sickness benefit, but he qualifies for invalidity. Now, invalidity is 3 years of contribution, 52 weeks.
Yeah, 150.
Right? Now, once he had qualified for that 3 years, because he's that sick, yes, you can have short disabled payments.
I understand it.
Did he apply?
It was not like a continue, like you sick this month, you try to recover, and then you take it again, and something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was not continuous.
It wasn't a continue, but time span.
But maybe based on the nature of his illness, had he applied for invalidity benefit,
no,
he could have given his body time to heal from the illness instead of trying to do something, and he's ill.
Nobody calling you, NHC not calling you, and all those people, and the construction site was closed down. You only consider yourself working when you go to NHC and the construction site. You know? When people call you, even you call me and say, "Man, boy, is you in school with me, and you want it free?" You know, is that doing plumbers and small tradesmen?
Yes.
So how can he get on in this thing here? The girl telling him some stupidness.
Let him come. Let him come to Social Security.
Okay.
Customer service. He can ask for me, Sandra De Silva.
Okay.
Let him come. Let me hear him.
All right.
And we'll do our best to serve him.
Okay.
Okay, quickly for some additional information while we're on the self-employed, because a number of persons who would have reached the age of 62 and they would have registered in one of the lowest category and paying that category all their years. They're saying to us, I didn't know I could have moved. I didn't know I could have changed my category. So I want to get some additional information out there. When you are registered as self-employed, you have an option to change your category twice a year, January and July of any year, as long as you are between the age of 16 and 52. At age 52, you can change your category once a year, either January or July of that year. At age 57, you can't change your category at all. I want the information to be clear, because persons coming in at 58, 59, and they want to go right up in the highest category because they want to capture the best 3 years. No, that's not possible. You have to be looking at your age, looking at whatever you're doing and what you could afford, and just keep stepping up when you could. Step up, make sure you're at age 57, you're at where you want to be, so that you could get the best possible benefit. So that's something that persons, if any additional information is needed, come in, let's have a conversation. We're saying, don't stay out there and don't understand it, come in and talk to us, and we would be happy to help.
Yeah, I think it's important, especially for self-employed people, to kind of understand how their pensions are calculated, and so you could come up with a strategy as to how you're going to get to where you want to be by the time it's retirement age. I think sometimes without having that strategy, you end up in these very unfortunate situations. So hopefully they could come in and get information they need to develop, that strategy.
And we facilitate persons maybe retiring early and they want to have an idea. Persons may be taking loans at the banks and they want to have an idea what my pension is now. Because based on what the pension is now, it's going to grow. So we facilitate years now. You can come in and say you want a pension request, and you will get that information. So you know where you're at.
All right.
And you get it in writing.
In addition to that, there are persons who, for whatever reason, they're not working anymore and they're leaving the Federation. Within the last period you would have worked, you have a 3 months time span. You could apply to the Director of Social Security to pay voluntary contributions. You may be going out of the Federation, not coming back here right now, but you can pay voluntary contribution. But you have a 3-month span time from the time you would have last paid contribution, or contribution was last paid on your behalf, to come in right to the director, send an application to be registered as a voluntary contributor. Right? And that although you're overseas, you're contributing still at age 62. Whatever you do out there, you still have a pension coming in sync. It's a good one.
Right.
Yeah, because we know that persons leave to go to the universities and so forth, and you are coming back. Yes, you can be a voluntary contributor until you return. Right. Keep your contributions building.
All right. I think that's pretty much the the basis of what you guys have been saying. Come in and have a conversation, learn about what the situation is, and keep contributing. But guys, just before we wrap up, because time is fast spent, is there any last words before we move on?
We just want you to know that we keep looking up for your benefit. Come in and speak to us. The best persons to speak to, of course, will be customer service and compliance. We are the one who deal with most customers. But customer service deals with everyone, and of course, compliance assists also. Self-employed persons, come in. Being self-employed is not about the Social Security card. I get the impression so many times that persons come in, I'm self-employed, and they state the nature of their business, and it's all about a Social Security card. Remember, self-employed is about your future benefits, your livelihood.
Yeah, and while we are focused mainly on the self-employed, I just want to get a word out there to employers. During this pandemic, a lot of you have run into some difficulties. And we are saying to you, come in and see us now. We want you to come in. Come in, see us, make an appointment, or just come in. Let's look at where you are. And we have a plan. We're going to work a plan with you, a workable plan with you. Don't just stay out there, because when you just stay out there, you're putting your employees at risk, and great risk. So we're saying to your employers also, come in, have that conversation with us so that we could get you back to where you should be, paying your contribution in full and on time. And if you have some arrears bank up on you, we'll work a plan out where you could keep the account current and pay something back on the arrears until you reach back where you want to be. But you have to come in and have that conversation.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Everyone listening, that's been Social Security. Really appreciate when you guys come in and have a conversation with us and let people know exactly what's happening at Social Security. And remind us that you keep looking out for our benefit.
Yes.
Right? All right, guys, we're going to take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea right here on WINNMedia SK. Stay tuned.
Getting sure to be sure of your benefits. Sickness and maternity, I'll tell you about the rest of it. Survivors grant your spouse and kids get the best of it. Let me mention pension when you're 62. When you're done work hard and retire, this is what to do. Listen, this Social Security is working for all your benefits. Funeral grant to help every one of your relatives.